or we will not survive.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father? You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friends of the Force, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Brad.
And I'm your host, Sarah.
And this is our newest podcast series, the Kenobi Keynote. Welcome, everybody.
Hooray!
Ewan,
Yes?
are you going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Yes.
Another happy podcast series, as they would say.
I love that. Another happy podcast series. In today's lecture, we will be doing a deep dive into the second Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer that dropped on today, May 4th, but it will have been the past for you, the listener.
Sarah, I thought this day would never come. We got the first trailer. We've been anxiously waiting a second trailer, as is Star Wars tradition. And May 4th just felt like the right time. It felt like the right time. But before we get into all of that, can you tell us all about the Kenobi Keynote? What listeners, new and returning listeners, should expect from the Kenobi Keynote? I'm going to keep saying Kenobi Keynote because I'm very proud of the name.
That I came up with.
We're very proud. We love our alliteration.
We really do.
In Star Wars podcasting.
Yeah, so this is our All Things Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We intend to do today's trailer reaction as well as a deep dive reaction, feelings, thoughts, podcast after every episode. And we are super, super, super excited to deep dive into this series because it has been such a long road to get here. I mean, we can take it back years and years when Ewan was denying that he had been in contact with Lucasfilm. We were all like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Liar.
I think it's happening. Yeah, I would love to do it if they ever called me. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. We'll be here every week once the series airs, talking all of our thoughts and feelings and probably yelling about everything because, oh my God.
And it was confirmed to be 6 episodes. So the first 2 premiere on Friday, May 27th at Celebration during that week. And then every Wednesday thereafter. So we'll be talking Kenobi for 4 to 5 weeks, basically, which is very exciting because that's the proper amount of time to talk about Kenobi.
And if you know us or, are not a new listener to the pod, you'll know that we're going to Star Wars Celebration. So the timing of that first release might be a little wonky because it's going to be a very busy sort of weekend, but we are so excited to be watching that show together and probably crying.
Yeah.
A lot of crying and yelling involved. We're so sorry to all of our hotel neighbors in advance.
Like, geez, who's getting murdered next door? No, we're just watching Kenobi. We're feral screaming. Don't worry.
Very normal behavior.
It's all fine.
Very normal behavior. No, seriously, we're really excited, and I think this should be a fun summer for the prequel kids.
Yeah, it's hot Kenobi summer officially.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, for you, where were you this morning when the trailer dropped? What was the circumstance around your first watch experience.
Okay, I was in bed and I have a couple of alarms that go off before my final alarm where I'm like, oh, I need to get up now. So I like check my phone in that first alarm and I'm like, don't want to get up. I see that like my notifications are blowing up and that this trailer has dropped and I go, sounds about right. I turn back over and go back to bed. And then I woke up 30 minutes later and to, 1,000 texts and notifications and messages and all my group chats are blowing up and Brad is like, Sarah, wake up, please, for the love of God. And so I watch it in bed and I'm like, yeah, that's a trailer. That's a trailer. Very muted reaction, honestly, to it. I'm like, yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then I get up, I go about my day and I come home and we watched it together. And then I was giggling maniacally to myself. So like the hype has hit. The hype has hit. And I think that's probably for the best because I didn't need the hype to hit, 40 minutes before I needed to go to work. I had a lot of, morning routine that I needed to get through in order to go to work and be a successful, productive bookseller for the day. So
probably for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best. And now I'm here and freaking out and it's good. How about you, Brad?
Yeah, well, I took work off this morning, which in hindsight was a good idea. I had my alarm set for 9 a.m. and I woke up at 8:55. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, I got a couple minutes left. Instead of snoozing, I'm going to check my phone right away. I opened my phone and literally I had a Twitter notification from 1 minute ago that said the new Kenobi trailer is out. It's like my body, it's like the spirits of the universe decided to bring me to consciousness as soon as the Kenobi trailer dropped so I could just rise up from bed and watch this thing. And so I was just like, I think I screamed in my bed. I was like, oh my God. And I watched it. And it was glorious. And I watched it several more times. And that was my start to May the 4th.
Yeah. No, I did the same thing where it was like we were on our phones essentially at the same time. I just chose to go back to sleep.
Ghosting me.
Ghosting you, but also ghosting the world. And also like, yeah, it'll be there when I decide to fully wake up.
Yeah, I think I spent like the next 30 minutes just scrolling Twitter and watching everybody's reactions, which is like the best part. And when you talk about being productive at work, anytime Star Wars news drops and I'm at work, it's just like the endorphins rush through my body and the adrenaline's pumping. And I need to figure out a way to control that a little better when I'm at work because I just get so excited. I'm like, I start sweating, I start shaking, I can't focus, and it's just really bad. So I was glad I could get it all out, while I was just sitting in bed with my cup of coffee, like, taking it easy.
Right. Yeah. See, I did not have such a luxury. And there was a moment during the workday when I was like panicking to get the mugs and also just like freaking out about life. And I go up to my coworker and I'm like, it's fine. I think I'm going to eat my Nerds rope now. I had a Nerds rope, a celebratory Nerds rope. And I was like, I think this is the time to eat my celebratory Nerds rope. And I was just like, Star Wars.
Well, yeah, let's talk about May the 4th a little bit here, very briefly before we dive into the trailer. So a couple things happened. You just mentioned the mugs, we were waiting, and we got a prequel planet finally. So we got 3 more Starbucks mugs today released on Shop Disney, which they've been doing this every year since 2020. I think originally they were supposed to be like meant for celebration or something, and then they ended up moving them. So that people could buy them on May the 4th because pandemic and all that stuff. That's what I had heard, and they've just been doing them ever since. And people were getting worried that they weren't going to release them. And then like there was an ad on Shop Disney this morning that just said coming soon. And I was like, what does that mean?
It was so weird.
And the mugs this year featured Navarro, Naboo, and Octo, which are, I think, all great options because you got Mando, sequel trilogy, prequel trilogy, which love it. Really love it.
Can we just say that is exactly how merchandising should be generally? Like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. None of it is the original trilogy. Like
every planet before has been the original trilogy except for Batu last year, I believe.
Yeah, because the first year it was Hoth, Dagobah,
Endor.
I think that's what I thought.
And then Tatooine. And something else, Cloud City. Yeah, Cloud City is the other one.
No offense to the original trilogy people in the room, but like, come on.
Yeah.
come on. Makes me so mad. And I mean no disrespect to the makers of these toys because they are making the toys that sell, but it's a cyclical problem when they're only making a particular set of toys, OT toys. People buy the OT toys because they're the only thing that's on the market. And they're like, oh, wait, OT toys sell. Let's buy more or let's make more.
Yeah.
It's a cyclical problem. Actually make stuff for your recent properties. I get so mad about this. I really do. And the fact that there is a 5-pack of all your favorite OT heroes Funko Pops. I'm like,
yeah.
It is literally an Attack of the Clones anniversary. Give us a freaking crumb.
Oh my
anyway.
gosh, I know. I was so bummed when they announced. I mean, I knew it was coming because I had seen a leak about the Celebration Funko Pops, but to actually see them all lined up and it's just like Chewie, Vader, Luke, Stormtrooper, and Leia, and I'm just like,
so absurdly
you couldn't have done Zam Wessel, Dexter Jettster, Jango Fett. I mean, there's so many options. Padme. I mean, you could literally do, instead of a 5-pack of the OT, do a 5-pack of Padme and have all of her Attack of the Clones outfits lined up. That would be cool.
I know I say I never buy a Funko Pop, but I would buy a 3-pack or a 5-pack of various Padme outfits in a freaking heartbeat. I would break my rule.
Like any Funko Pops or figures that you sell to Celebration that are exclusive are going to sell out anyways. So it's like, why play it safe? Like, do something different. So
anyway, one of those things that really bothers me. So I was, again, going back to the mugs, I was so thrilled to see a prequel planet, a sequel planet, and one, it does take place with the original trilogy timeline, but not an original trilogy planet. It's a new planet. So I bought myself the Octo mug. I don't really have a need for a lot of mugs, nor, do I have the budget for a lot of mugs right now. So I just got Octo. It had a Porg. It has Yoda. It has Rey. It has Luke. It has a resistance symbol. That was good for me. That was good. I liked Naboo, but it didn't have enough Padme. It had one Padme. It needed like 6 Padmes. Just my personal thoughts.
But yeah, that was really exciting because as soon as those dropped, I had a couple friends who were all on like Mug Watch, and we were like texting each other as soon as they dropped. So that was great. And I'm very glad that they continued that tradition this year, because that's always like my May 4th highlight is like, which mugs did I get this year? And I have nowhere to put them. So that being said, we had a couple of other fun things today. Moon Knight finale, by the way, which rocked my socks off. That show was awesome.
Haven't seen it yet.
So good. So good.
All right.
Ended up being one of my favorite MCU shows. But Star Wars related, we had Disney Gallery, the making of the Book of Boba Fett, which was very lovely. And there is a moment where Doug Chang is sitting inside of the N1 Starfighter as is flying through
that's
the
where that image
environments.
came from. Okay,
and, that is definitely the highlight of the episode. I posted it on our Twitter if you want to go check it out. And we also had Behind the Mac, which is a 16-minute documentary. It's available on YouTube. It is about all of the people who work at Skywalker Sound, often underappreciated people who are working in films, because when you think about it, if you close your eyes and you hear Star Wars, every single scene. You can pick all those scenes out. They made a point to say that in the documentary, right? The sound artists are the ones who bring these movies to life and make them what they are, make them iconic, make them memorable. So it was really cool to see them get in the spotlight for May the 4th. So I would definitely check that out because it's, in my opinion, required viewing. I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of those, but do you think those are like a good lineup for May the 4th?
I haven't seen any of them. I'm surprised that they held the Boba Fett gallery so long. Because like this, compared to the Mando ones, which came out like seemingly the week after the series wrapped. So like I'm surprised they held it as long as they did. But other than that, I look forward to that. And I'm really, really excited about the Skywalker Sound documentary. I wasn't able to catch that. I've been at work all day, and then we came here and ate food, and I hopped onto this podcast recording. So it's kind of been a busy day, but I look forward to watching it, and I think it's going to be really good. And my gosh, the sounds are so iconic. We talked about it a little bit in our Attack of the Clones episodes. But yeah, wow. Thank God for Star Wars sound folks at Skywalker Sound, because they're doing the Lord's work over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They said they had over like 720,000 sounds in the Skywalker Sound library. I believe it. Insane. And our last bit of May the 4th news is a brand new 6-part docuseries coming out called Light and Magic. and it's about the amazing people over at ILM. So I am very excited about that. Imagineering story is like one of my favorite things on Disney Plus. So I hope that this is kind of in that vein, in that spirit, because I really love when documentaries are like just kick ass and really get to the bottom of the subject that it's exploring, and doesn't hold back and has a lot of diverse interviews involved. And there's just so many people at ILM that I think they could really do some wonderful things with this. But most importantly, there's a new panel at Celebration, and it's going to feature Lawrence Kasdan, Ron Howard, Dennis Muren, Phil Tippett, Joe Johnston, Rose Dugan, and Linwin Brennan, who is the Lucasfilm Executive Vice President and General Manager. So that is an incredible lineup. I mean, that is like stacked.
I just really feel for our friend Brandon over at Talking Bay 94 because like this is like, I would imagine, the number one panel for him. But guys, his podcast stage slot is at literally the same time. Like that was so brutal. Like who at Lucasfilm, you know, at Star Wars Celebration has it out for Brandon, because that was I saw that and was like, oh no, poor friend.
That is so brutal. And he was like going all along until this point, thinking he was safe, and then they announced this morning, and he's like, well,
and this is about as bad as it could get for Brandon, the guy who does the behind the scenes interview podcast. Like, oh
my gosh.
My deepest sympathies to our friend Brandon and
you're
Jason over at Talking Bay 94. Wow. But I think both, whichever one you decide to go to, they should both be excellent. So yeah.
But I'm so excited. Are you like a huge documentary person? Does this sound of interest to you? Do you want to know all the behind the scenes of visual effects and really how the meat's made, and how the history of how the meat's made and how it's changed over time?
Yeah, I mean, this is not like Star Wars history specifically is not something that like I'm as into as some other fans are, just because, or at least the OT, like that's not my bread and butter. But I love me a good documentary. Please inject it into my veins all the time. So I'm really thrilled about this, and I hope it's going to be excellent. And I know it's going to be excellent because it's exploring a subject that I care about and I find interesting. So it'll be great. Yeah. And I mean, the secrets we're going to learn, you know, behind the scenes things are going to be revealed. So it's going to be exciting. And I look forward to spending the summer watching a documentary series. Yeah. That sounds great, you know?
Yeah. So again, that series premieres on July 27th. And what a way to spend the middle of the summer inside watching this with a cup of coffee. Oh, cannot wait. Cannot wait. But what I also can't wait for, Sarah, is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's what we're here to discuss today.
Kenobi. So we got this trailer really early this morning. We've had a whole day to dissect it, except if you're me, you didn't spend that whole day dissecting it. So we're going to do it in real time. I'm only half kidding. And we're just going to share all of our thoughts and freak out about how epic this trailer is. Are you ready, Brad?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? What's up?
Like immediately we're jumping right into Inquisitor Nation. It's really setting the tone immediately that these people are on the hunt for Kenobi. We see their ship, and we see all of the Inquisitors walking onto the street in Tatooine, which, by the way, Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor is like really growing on me. I think seeing his full outfit and him from a different angle really bought me into it. I don't know how you feel about seeing all these Inquisitors lined up. We see the helicopter lightsaber on the back. We see them all looking for Obi-Wan. He's a dead man if they find him. Whew.
I mean, yeah, I had no strong feelings about the Grand Inquisitor. I mean, Tion Medin, one of my faves, right? We know. And he's got the world's longest face. And he's so narrow. It's so tall. But that guy was also just built different, you know? Like the actor who played him just built a little bit different. Yeah. And that's fine, you know? Like that's why they have an actor like that, or an actor like Doug Jones, like playing Saru in Discovery. It's because he's built different. Rupert Friend is not necessarily built different. He's a pretty normal looking guy.
He's not built like an Utapawan.
No, you can only do so much. And honestly, like I didn't have any strong issues with it prior to, like, again, every species is different, but like look at the incredible amount of human diversity there is. So of course there's going to be that same amount of diversity in every other species in the galaxy, I would imagine. So no strong feelings one way or the other, but I think he looks good. He's an incredible actor, so I'm really excited to see what he brings to the role. He looks intimidating as heck, but also a little silly, and that's when you know it's Star Wars. But Reva looks good.
Oh my gosh.
Step on me. Amazing.
Yeah, please.
And the fifth brother also looks intimidating. So I am on board with the look and with the feel in them walking off of their ship onto like the very dusty Tatooine streets, and just the way that they're dressed differently.
Yeah.
They look so clean, so slick, you know, like their armor is polished and shiny, and everybody else is wearing layers,
earth tones
that are different colors. Yeah. Earthy tones. It's really striking to see how they look different. And I really love that we're getting the juxtaposition of these environments throughout this trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very interesting to see the Inquisitorius on Tatooine, because that hasn't really been a place for the Empire to explore besides stormtroopers. You know, we never saw Vader go down there. So yeah, that stark contrast in the color design is really, really interesting. And that's the terrifying part about the Empire, is just how it affects everyday citizens. I mean, it's just interesting to watch, and you and I love politics and Star Wars, and I think the Empire as a military organization is really fascinating during this time to see how it affects each part of the galaxy.
Yeah, and I mean, we know just a teeny tiny bit of how the Inquisitorius affects, you know, the streets of Mos Eisley with that one very quick shot with Reva and Benny Safdie. We know that she's taken out that lightsaber on Tatooine. Like, we know it's not going to go well for everybody. You remember in the teaser trailer, like the hanging feet. Is that somebody who has been hanged, or is that somebody who is being held up by the Force? Both are genuinely plausible.
And terrifying.
And both of them, yeah, genuinely terrifying. So, like, I think there's a lot to be concerned about when it comes to the Inquisitorius on Tatooine. So, yeah.
Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared.
Exactly.
All right. Well, our next part features Owen Lars, which,
oh my God,
great to see him. Great to see him.
Can we talk about this line delivery, please?
Go ahead.
So he's like, leave him alone. And then Ewan McGregor is like, when the time comes, he must be trained. And there's just, it's everything. Everything about it is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, the line delivery between these two trailers is absolutely killing me. And then, oh my God, he comes back and he goes, like you trained his father. And I was like,
Owen Lars.
Yeah, that was kind of brutal. And that really shows the animosity between these two, because essentially, like, when you start thinking about it, Obi-Wan has been a figure that has been hovering around Luke and the Lars family for the past, checks watch, like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can imagine how upset he would be to just have this like rando guy stalking your stepson.
Yeah.
You know, for the first 10 years of his life, because I don't think that either of them truly understands perhaps the other's point of view. Like, there's no way that the Lars family can understand Obi-Wan's point of view and why he doesn't leave, and like why he's there and why it means so much to him. And I also don't think that Owen, like, and I also don't think that Obi-Wan understands why Owen is so apprehensive or doesn't understand his duty.
Yeah, and they fight a little bit in the comics, so it's interesting to see this sort of tie into that. There was like those couple of issues of Star Wars way back a couple years ago, and there was a couple of issues about the journal of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's where we got some of this backstory. So I'm glad that the show is leaning into that. But yeah, it is curious, like how does Owen become so disgruntled? And I'm excited to see like what paints those words that Owen tells Luke when he's like, you know, that man's just a crazy old wizard in the desert. Stay away from him, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's really going to give us some new context, which I think is really cool. You know, like when we watch A New Hope after this, we're going to have so much more backgrounds with the Lars family. And I think that's really cool. But I'm trying to sort of piece some of these things together. I know we're jumping ahead in the trailer, but we get the one shot of the probe droids getting shot out of the base where the Inquisitors are, which, you know, Empire Strikes Back styles. Yeah. They're sending them everywhere. And there's another shot where Obi-Wan's using a blaster. So uncivilized. He's using a blaster and there's a probe droid on the ground in the background.
Yeah, that probe droid is dead.
My thoughts is that the probe droid finds Obi-Wan and something sets off an Inquisitorious home base, and I forget what it's called from Fallen Order, but then they go to
Fortress
Tatooine.
Inquisitorious?
Sure. Is that it, actually? Is that the name of it?
I think so. I could be wrong.
Cool. Let's just call it that for now.
What do I know?
Points don't matter. And I wonder if that's where they get the lead on Tatooine and they come, and I think that's what maybe leads to this conversation is Owen Lars just watch Obi-Wan shoot a probe droid somewhere at some point and was like, you got to stay away from us. And Obi-Wan's like, listen, I know I'm going to be having to leave here soon, but you got to train the kid. You got to train him eventually. Like, this is my final plea. You may or may not see me again, but he has to be trained. I don't know. Does you get like the vibe that this could be like a kind of last desperate call before Obi-Wan and Owen part ways for maybe a little bit during the show's length at least?
Yeah, I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg. And by the chicken or the egg, I mean like the probe droid or the Inquisitors, because by the time that we get that shot of him on Tatooine, who else is he shooting at? Oh, his stormtrooper. Okay, there's no lightsabers involved. It is just a blaster, and he's flipping over a stormtrooper. So maybe that is the inciting incident here. He shoots down this probe droid. It triggers everybody else in a sense.
Yeah.
To come to Tatooine.
They could be having this conversation while he's working, because we know Obi-Wan has a job.
Yeah, he is gainfully employed. Good for him.
Taking his lunch break, and no one's just being a total asshole to him.
It's highly possible. It is definitely possible. Then this must be the inciting incident to bring over the Inquisitors. Yeah, I mean, how does he? Well, I guess he Jedi mind tricks them. I was like, how does he get around this in years to come? You know, like he's still right where
it's a tricky situation.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and then that sends him off on a wild goose chase to whatever the other planet is called. I forget off the top of my head. I'm a really bad fan, but I will remember by the time the first episode airs. But yeah, putting the story together. I think it's going to be fairly straightforward, but like,
yeah, I'm curious how Obi-Wan gets out of Dodge. You know, we know he goes to other planets. Does he take a spacecraft? Does he have something that he's flying, like in case of an emergency? I don't know. Yeah. Or maybe he knows some people. You know, like maybe Bail Organa sends him a ship or something. Who knows?
If Bail Organa shows up in this series, you will never hear the end of it from me.
Bail, I need a non-military transport ASAP. He's like, got it. Sending it to you now.
Yeah, like I wouldn't call you if it wasn't deadly serious.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm. So we get these next couple of lines, and it's somebody who we don't know who is saying, "You still want Kenobi? He's gone." And then Reva replies, "Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places." Who do you think is saying the first line?
And she sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. Well, I was thinking originally it had to be like one of two people, and either the Grand Inquisitor or, you know, Anakin/Vader. But that doesn't really match with like what we know of both of their voices at this point. So you mentioned that you thought it could be Benny Safdie's character, which I think would be totally fair considering we assume that he is the head of hair we see in the teaser trailer.
Pretty confident.
Maybe he's his employer, you know, maybe that's why he's gainfully employed. And then he's like, and then Obi-Wan's like, gotta go. I'm quitting my job. And then Benny Safdie's like, he's gone. You're looking for him. He doesn't work here anymore.
Obi-Wan didn't put in his full 2 weeks. What a king. He's like, I'm out. Bye. Good luck with your staffing.
Yeah. He will not be getting a professional reference from them.
Especially because Benny Safdie is probably a goner. So, do you have any references? Right. No, my last reference got killed by the third sister on Tatooine. Yeah. So, can you take a college transcript?
Yeah, and I don't know my parents, and everybody that I've ever loved is dead, except for my former Padawan, who is the Dark Lord himself. It's a very difficult situation. I don't have a lot of context at this point, but I would love to work for you and show you how good I am.
I will let you know, though, if a probe droid comes here, I'm out. So
I'm out.
You might also die, so just beware.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No thoughts, just yeah.
I see this gap in your resume. What have you been doing for 8 years? Well, I've been watching a young child and sitting in a cave. Okay.
So you're stay-at-home dad. No.
No, I'm watching him from very far away with binoculars.
So you stalk children.
Okay, Obi-Wan. Well, I don't think this is going to work out.
He was entrusted into my care. So you're not his dad. No, I'm not his dad. And you're not a stalker. No. So why aren't you the primary caregiver? Oh, reasons.
Oh, see, his dad, I chopped his legs off and then I left him to burn on the sands of Mustafar. It's a complicated situation.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're really derailed here, and I think it's fun. But take us back on track.
After we hear that line from Reva, we get this incredible shot where we are looking at like a hollow port of some sort, hollow screen that has a 2005 promotional image as Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan as the mugshot, his Jedi mugshot. When I tell you that I love this, I could like there's nothing better than this right here. I really, really mean it. I hope you can hear it in my voice. It's 2005 Jedi mugshot is being, I would assume, uploaded to the HoloNet. Brilliant, amazing. It's a wanted poster. I am obsessed with it. I am obsessed with it.
This was definitely
no thoughts. This is really just a no thoughts head empty episode with like just me going, that's it. That's the thing. Like,
this is easily like one of my favorite parts of the trailer because the 2005 vibe of this photo is just so great.
It's so ridiculous.
I mean, gotta respect the Empire. I said this on Twitter earlier for making Obi-Wan's wanted poster a little hot, a little bit of a daddy. They're like, hey, this man, if you do see this man, you must resist the urge to kiss him on the lips. So be careful. Be careful. It's very hot.
But like
he is
also,
a daddy.
But also it's so funny because they're like, yeah, it's our mugshot for this guy. Also, it's at least 12 years old.
Yeah.
In space years.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a longer beard now.
He looks a little different, just a little bit.
Well, it's a good thing he's not wearing those Jedi robes because those are in the photo. He's got to change outfits, Sarah. He's got to wear blue. And
yet somehow he ends up back in the Jedi robes. I have questions. I have questions and no answers. But he's wearing a different outfit. He's wearing a bit of a poncho look. We love Cal Kestis. He starts trends.
Yeah. What is with like Jedi who escaped Order 66 and ponchos?
Ponchos?
You know?
I think it's the versatility of the garment.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's
you
good.
can do a lot with a poncho.
That is
also,
very true.
It can hide some of your weapons because it's kind of, there's no sleeves.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely. And also, I love when Star Wars characters change outfits.
Oh my God.
Can we talk about
fashion,
that?
Fashion monarchs across the Star Wars galaxy whenever they change their outfits. Amazing stuff.
I mean, that's why I love Padme so much, but I don't like when characters just stay stationary with like the same outfit. Like Fennec Shan, she has like one outfit.
Shan,
I'm like,
who wears her one outfit over the course of like 30 years. Yeah. Not my favorite thing.
Yeah. Okay. So we get this next part of the trailer, which I think is very interesting. We hear Reva saying that she's going to send the lowliest of people and bounty hunters after Obi-Wan to find him. And we see a shot here that is pretty plausibly Forlom. The Forlom. Or at least a Forlom droid. But I do think it is Forlom, who, if those of you wondering, would be one of the bounty hunters on the bridge of Darth Vader's Star Destroyer in Empire Strikes Back, tasked with hunting down Han Solo. So that's kind of cool that we see him show up. I don't know if we're going to see like more bounty hunters. Like, I don't know if Obi-Wan's going to get hunted but down by multiple.
The answer is yes. She said every lowlife and bounty hunter. Then we see him getting like attempted. He's in a fight with this guy, the Sabrak, in an alleyway, and this other guy in an alleyway. Everybody's coming after him. We also get a shot of this droid who's doing some shooty shoots. is the droid a bounty hunter sort of guy? Or is the droid a good guy? Is Kumail a bounty hunter sort of guy? Or is Kumail Nanjiani playing a good guy? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, the droid is shooting at stormtroopers, so that could be.
Well, that's what we're made to believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a sticky situation. I think when you add bounty hunters into the equation for Obi-Wan, he's just like, I'm so tired. Like, no wonder he hides in a hut after this, because he's like, yeah, I got chased down by 3 Inquisitors, a Grand Inquisitor, Darth Vader, and like every bounty hunter in the galaxy, and my face was plastered everywhere, and people would get paid if they killed me. So I'm going to hunker down for a bit and put this lightsaber in a box and call it a day.
Yeah, and I'm also going to hunker down alone because the love of my life is dead. My Padawan is metaphorically dead. My master dead. My parents almost certainly dead. Never knew him in the first place. I've got nobody except for this kid who is my charge. So I'll go hide in a hut near him.
Star Wars is pain.
Star Wars is pain.
Tragedy.
Yeah, 100%.
Tragedy.
Yeah. And so this is a sidebar back to our earlier sidebar. Does Kumail playing this human character mean that O'Shea Jackson Jr. is potentially that droid shooting character that we saw?
Oh, yeah.
Question of the day that we definitely don't have an answer to, but we still have not seen O'Shea Jackson Jr. In either of these trailers.
I think you might be onto something. Yeah, I think you might be correct. He might be playing that droid. I will say I'm very happy that Kumail is not the droid. I didn't want him to be behind a costume, because I really don't like when franchises cast people of color and then like put them behind prosthetics or masks, and you don't actually get to see the representation on screen. It's like how they almost put Grief Karga inside an alien costume and you wouldn't see Carl Weathers' face, which would have been a huge travesty. So I'm glad we're seeing Kumail. You know, we need that representation. Being said,
like, they are both men of color, so I hope that they're both playing some sort of humanoid characters, because like the galaxy is seriously lacking in representation broadly. Mm-hmm. But I do think that like either of them could have played this droid character really well. I think they're both really interesting and dynamic people and actors. So who knows? Yeah.
I hope we get to see both their faces, because that would be great. I agree. But I'm at least glad we got confirmed Kumail's face in the meantime.
Yeah, and I really want to know what sort of character he's playing and what role he'll have. And I hope it's a big role, because like he's a really, really interesting and fun actor to watch.
Oh yeah. He was so great in Eternals. I really liked him in that film.
Eternals, and also he starred in The Big Sick, which was, the dramedy about, his relationship with his wife. So that, he was great in that movie. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. But I want to transition to this little tiny hand droid that makes this little quipping. It's so cute, and it like bobbles around a little bit, and I'm just obsessed with it. Can't wait to. I feel like, there are like all the droid builders that build all these movable droids. I feel like you probably don't have to do this a lot with this little baby. So I would be really interested to see how this droid functions, and also how you can build one, whether it be a functional or not.
Who is holding it? It's a black gloved hand.
And that's a bad guy for sure.
Yeah.
That is a crisp glove.
I think it's a bounty hunter. I think
it might be Reva.
Also a good guess.
I have nothing to go on except for these hands perhaps are slender, but also maybe not. Like this is just me, making stuff up at this point. I have no idea. But I think it's a bad guy just because the gloves are really nice looking. And the only people that we've seen have such nice clothes in this trailer are the Inquisitors themselves.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Inquisitors, now we get back to the main story. We see a lot of kind of different characters popping up throughout the trailer, and then we finally get to the end where we see more Inquisitors. We do see a Purge Trooper, ladies and gentlemen. We do see a Purge Trooper in this trailer.
You're right. Okay, I just saw it. Yep,
I just noticed it as I'm scrolling through here, which is pretty incredible. And yeah, that's really awesome. I love Fallen Order, and I'm glad to see those in live action.
Yes. Can we, for one moment, just comment on Reva's "You can't escape him"?
Yeah.
As like Obi-Wan is clearly getting away from this planet.
Who is him? Who is him?
Who is him? Who is him? Who is him? Him. He, hard eyes. He is the man himself, Darth Vader.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Because then we get the mechanical hand. We get the mechanical hand arm being inserted into his real arm. And when I tell you, okay, there were two things in this trailer this morning when I was having a very muted reaction that just got me extra level hype. And it was like, when the time comes, he must be trained. And then also mechanical hand. I don't know why. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. That was it for me. I was like, this is it. Okay, I'm going to enjoy this show.
Okay, wait. So like we're getting an entire scene when we first see Darth Vader where we just see him get all of his components put on is what I'm getting.
Oh,
that's the vibe I'm getting.
100%. How many hours do you think Hayden Christensen spent in the makeup chair getting all of this, like, you know, like really burns and like all his scarring like put onto his body?
Yeah.
Like, how many hours do you think that took?
Like, holy crap, we're going to see him like wake up in the morning. What's his morning routine? What's his morning routine?
I hope he enjoys a nice cup of Java juice to start off the day.
Oh my gosh. He's in the back to tank. That's where he sleeps. And then he gets all the goods put on.
Also, can we talk about how his light up box in the front literally like inserts into his chest?
Yeah.
Like with pins? Like that's going into his body.
Oh my god.
Like no wonder he's so angry all the time is because like the amount of absolute shit he has to go through in order to like function as a person. Like he should be dead in every sense of the word. He should be dead. You know, like we all saw what happened to him on Mustafar. It wasn't great.
Well, it kind of feels like the body shop horror, like of even like Boba Fett with Fennec Shan and like seeing all of her components get fixed around. So I think that emotion that you're having about like those pins going into his body, it's supposed to be a little bit uncomfortable to watch because you're like, God, we never get that sort of angle of something actually getting inserted into him. Like we do see it in Revenge of the Sith, and that is also quite horrifying. But I think now we're seeing it at such a close perspective. It's so zoomed in. We see those pins sliding into those little holes that are in his body. Like that's, oh God, yeah. I mean, he's tormented. Yeah. Not just the physical pain. We're not even talking about the mental anguish that he's feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yep. And also, like, I keep watching as you were talking, I was like, yeah, let me just loop these 4 seconds. And I just like, I'm sitting here having chills thinking about the entirety of this scene and like what Vader is going through as he gears up for whatever reason. Like this is serious for him. How is he leading the search? How does he come to know about the search for Obi-Wan? No comment. We know that they're going to fight. No comment. No comment.
And most importantly, while we're getting the Vader dressing in the morning scene, Natalie Holt's score is going to be on top of that. Just think about that for a second.
I can't.
That might be some peak Star Wars.
That. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
Oh my God. Yeah. And of course, we finish off the trailer with a close-up of Obi-Wan, a beautiful shot, and we hear Darth Vader breathing, you know, kind of insinuating that Obi-Wan knows there's a presence that he has not felt since Mustafar. Okay,
there are a couple of options here in this scene. It looks like he is in a ship of some sort or a holding spell of some sort, because you can see like behind him on the left side of the screen, like something like a netting of some sort that is holding something in, right? So like that's why I think it's like a ship hull, you know, essentially, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think he could be meditating. Now, is he meditating and is he resolved after hearing Qui-Gon or attempting to kind of call the Force, or is he deeply, deeply concerned after like feeling the presence of Vader? I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know.
I cannot freaking wait for the show, Sarah. Like I know things could go wrong. I don't think that's going to happen. And even if it does, let's just enjoy the ride. Because Ewan McGregor is back. Hayden's back. Deborah Chow's in the chair. Natalie Holt's on the keyboard. It's like, we're great. We're doing great.
Yeah, the band's back together.
You know? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I just like am at a loss for words. So this is probably the last trailer we'll get before the show. We might get some like TV spots closer, like you know how for Book of Boba Fett they had a couple of TV spots with some new footage. So I imagine we'll get some of those, maybe like, you know, Master and like Apprentice or something, you know, like kind of really dramatic TV spots, you know, 2005 style. I love the old TV ads for the prequel trilogy. They were so great. And they always had like a specific angle. Just great stuff. But I don't know. What do you think the marketing is going to look like for the next 3 weeks? I mean, we know we've seen some of those promotional posters, like with them fighting and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. And we just got today on May the 4th, Hasbro announced Obi-Wan's lightsaber, which unfortunately I'm going to be buying tomorrow / the time today that you're listening to this episode.
You're not.
I will. It's pretty nice. It's
Give
nice.
me your wallet through the screen right now. It's nice.
It's nice.
But what are you going to do with it? It's nice, but what are you going to do with it? Give me the
Shout
wallet
out, Brandon.
through the screen right now.
Yeah, it's just difficult. And also Darth Vader's helmet was announced as part of the Black Series lineup. So
don't buy it. Don't buy it.
They also mentioned Obi-Wan Wednesdays, which is like the new Mando Mondays, but for Obi-Wan. So there's going to be merch reveals every week, and I'm slightly concerned for my wallet.
Guys, we have reason to be concerned for Brad's wallet. What he's saying is true.
Yeah. It's not a good time over here, but I have no room for anything. It's fine.
We do have serious concern for no, we should all be concerned for Brad's wallet. Oh boy. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about Obi-Wan Wednesdays. We'll see if they actually, here's the deal. I'm pretty frugal. I can resist the temptation most of the time. Will something get me? You know? Will something pique my interest? Will it catch my eye? Will I need to have it? We'll find out this month and next month. Like, I think it'll be an interesting thing to find out, because if this is really up my alley and really works for me in the way that I truly hope it does, I could be tempted. Be tempted.
How are you feeling though right now at this moment about Obi-Wan?
I'm feeling like so scatterbrained and excited and mostly not coherent. Like, if I said 2 coherent thoughts on this entire podcast today, we're gonna call it a win. If everything, I know, like everything else is me just going, yeah, it's great, but I'm like genuinely really excited, and I'm feeling really positive about it. And like, who knows, it might flop for me. We have no idea, but I am feeling encouraged by this trailer. I'm feeling encouraged by our excitement together. And I'm looking forward to it all. I feel like right now I just have so much to look forward to. And that is a great feeling.
Yeah, I feel just like overwhelmingly positive about everything right now, like with Celebration and with Obi-Wan coming out. I think it's just a really good time to be a fan. Yeah. I'm just very excited. So, and like Brotherhood comes out in a couple of days for many people. Yeah. So that's going to be a good time. By the way, we put a full review up on our blog, so go check that out if you want our thoughts, or at least my thoughts. And we'll be talking about that in the next couple weeks as well, so stay tuned. But yeah, I guess this is one of our final episodes. We got a couple more before Celebration. Oh my gosh, it's getting close.
Yes. So if you are also going to be at Celebration, stay tuned for a bit of a Celebration preview episode. We will be talking about the convention, where we'll be, do's and don'ts, all that good stuff. And then stay tuned for all of our Celebration coverage and Kenobi coverage on the Kenobi keynote past that date. We are like, as you can tell, we are practically bouncing off the walls. So excited to share it all with you. So hopefully you join us for this ride. No thoughts, just vibes.
Head
and
empty.
They're good.
Only Kenobi. With that wrapping things up, I hope everybody listening to the show had a great May the 4th. I certainly did. A lot of great stuff today. Great fan art online, a lot of good social posts from the official Star Wars account. They did reply to @JayTheChow on Twitter and said, "May the marmalade be with you," which, as a Paddington fan, that really meant a lot to me. That was my Joker. And very excited about all things on social media today. It was a good day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you're following Sarah and I on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Goodreads. And also leave a 5-star review for the show if you can, because it helps other folks find the podcast and join the discussion. And especially as we approach the start of Kenobi, we want as many people involved in the discussion, including on our Discord, where if you would like an invite to that, just DM us on Twitter and we'll send you a link.
Also, we have a Patreon where tiers are starting just at $1, and we are eternally grateful to all of our patrons who help financially support the show to keep the website running and to help us get to Celebration just a little bit. So thank you so much to Amy, Anna, Brian, Carol, Cheryl, Clay, Danny, Davis, Dylan, Deborah, Donnie, Elegy, Huang, Jen, Knights of Ren, Levi, Leanne, Lindsay, Lucy, Luke, Randy, Rob, Saber Bouquet, Sky Talkers, Travis, and T. We are so grateful for all of you.
Yes, and thank you all once again for listening. And until next time, may the Force be with you always.
Bye.